Hi guys, so today's agenda is very much different than our previous videos. Today we will be talking about Mass Effect 4's biggest challenge when it comes out. We already know that Mass Effect Legendary Edition is a reminder of what Mass Effect 4 could be, and that would be nostalgia. So this is Fenris Wolf on behalf of Gamer Overlord, and I do request you all to please watch this video till the end. Hit that like as well as the subscribe button. Make sure you click that bell icon for more regular news updates and reviews from us. So making myself and everything else clear, let's get started. When Mass Effect Legendary Edition released last month, fans of the franchise were able to board the Normandy again and relive the adventure of the original trilogy with improved graphics, quality of life changes, and streamlined systems spanning all three games. Although the Legendary Edition has been well received, it also points to one of the biggest challenges that Mass Effect 4, which is the next sequel to the Mass Effect series, could face. Mass Effect Legendary Edition capitalized on nostalgia to great success, but with Mass Effect 4 seemingly picking up from the ending of the original trilogy, Bioware needs to strike a careful balance between the nostalgic and the new. This could be difficult based on what we have seen so far, as BioWare needs to embrace change if it's going to recapture the spirit of the original trilogy. So in this video, we will be broadly elaborating the three core parts of what we could see in Mass Effect 4. The first one is rebuilding the past, and Mass Effect 4's trailer has a clear message. The next chapter in the Mass Effect franchise will have more explicit connections to the original trilogy than Mass Effect Andromeda. Although a shot of two galaxies in the Mass Effect 4 trailer hints elements from Andromeda will be reintegrated into a new storyline, the trailer focuses on fan favorite companion Liara returning and hints that Shepard may have survived the events of Mass Effect 3. While it seems unlikely that BioWare would hint at Shepard's return if the studio wasn't willing to follow through, the Dead Reaper seen in the trailer and an image released by BioWare on Twitter showing a mass relay being reconstructed both point to Mass Effect 4 taking place in a timeline where Shepard chose to destroy the Reapers and the mass relays. It seems likely that Mass Effect 3's destroy ending has been made canon in part because it's the only original trilogy ending that can hint at Shepard's survival if the player has a high effective military strength. Bringing back Shepard poses some big challenges for moving the franchise forward. While players won't necessarily be expecting to see all of those that we had seen in the original trilogy, the choices had reflected in the new game, many will be expecting elements like romance options returning. A player whose experience of the original trilogy involved romancing Garrus, for example, and that would likely be disappointed to see him left out of the new game. This also raises a big question for BioWare on where the studio draw the line when it comes to bringing back the elements of the original trilogy. On one hand, leaving some iconic characters from the original trilogy and introducing a new crew would feel like it's leaving important storylines behind. On the other end, Mass Effect 4 will need the ambition to tell its own story and start setting up its own stakes rather than relying on the player's attachment to the first three games. The second thing about reliving the nostalgia for Mass Effect 4 is changing the Mass Effect universe. While the challenge applies to returning characters, it also applies to the plot and the setting of Mass Effect 4 as a whole. BioWare will have to choose whether it's going to try and tell a story about Mass Effect 4's protagonist, that is Shepard, or otherwise facing another galaxy-level extinction event. If it is, it could feel too similar to the original trilogy, and if it isn't, BioWare could risk lower stakes. BioWare has already hinted at some of these changes coming to the Mass Effect universe, but it's clear that that's a level of hesitancy to change too much. The destroy ending implied the destruction of the mass relays would fundamentally change the whole picture of the galaxy, potentially making FTL travel and a galactic community impossible. While the Twitter image shows a mass relay being rebuilt in a new kind of style, the fact that mass relays are being rebuilt at all could be a missed opportunity to show a different version of the Mass Effect universe rather than returning to the status quo from the start of the Mass Effect, the very first game. Assuming Shepard does return, their characterization could also be a tough area to balance nostalgia and change. The thing is that Shepard's scene in the next game could be at a different stage in their life, similar to Kratos' return in 2018's God of War. This could be an opportunity to tell that a new kind of story, but could also risk alienating fans if they feel Shepard has changed too much. If BioWare is really going to draw people back into the Mass Effect universe for a new story, it needs to embrace change. The original Mass Effect trilogy is one of BioWare's greatest achievements, but one of the reasons players fell in love with those games was actually how fresh and compelling its universe and story felt. The individual elements that made up the original trilogy, including the companions, Shepard, and the Normandy, were all important. However, they will never have the same impact now as when they were before. And the third aspect that I want to elaborate is about the future of Mass Effect. How Mass Effect is going to change from here on with Mass Effect 4. Well, Mass Effect 4 is a chance for BioWare to tell a story that feels thematically distinct from the original trilogy, explore the galaxy in the wake of the Reaper invasion, and introduce new companions. Nostalgia can draw fans in, but it is unlikely to sustain the story for long or help Mass Effect 4 be met with the same acclaim as the first three games. There are still many different kinds of stories BioWare can tell in the Mass Effect universe. Like a dark matter plotline cut from the Mass Effect 2 would have involved time manipulation, and while a cancelled Han Solo inspired Mass Effect spin off would have put the player in the shoes of a mercenary or smuggler to explore the galaxy from a different perspective. Even if Shepard returns, Mass Effect 4 should not try to tell another story about Shepard overcoming all those odds to save the galaxy. Like, it should not rely on returning characters or rekindling relationships or references to memorable moments from the original trilogy. A return to Shepard and the Milky Way can still form a strong foundation for the next game, but if BioWare doesn't leave the original trilogy behind, it risks being held back by its nostalgia. So do give your views on how you feel about Mass Effect 4 and how it can keep up with its nostalgia of BioWare's first three games. Do follow our Discord server for short updates that we won't be coming in our videos. Also follow our Twitter and Instagram handles for regular news and updates. We will be seeing you guys in the next update.